What if I told you that the rise and fall of economies was not discovered in modern universities, not on Wall Street, and not through advanced mathematical models, but by a single observer living more than 600 years ago? Long before capitalism, long before modern governments, and long before economics became a formal discipline, one man uncovered a pattern so accurate that history has been repeating it ever since. His name was Ibn Khaldun, and his ideas explain why societies grow rich, why they become weak, and why they ultimately collapse. Ibn Khaldun was born in the year 1332 in North Africa, in a world where stability was rare and power was temporary. Dynasties rose quickly and collapsed just as fast. Cities that were prosperous one decade could be abandoned the next. Political alliances shifted constantly, and rulers lived under the constant threat of betrayal. While many people explain these events as destiny or divine punishment, Ibn Khaldun saw something else. He saw patterns shaped by human behavior. Unlike modern economists, Ibn Khaldun had no access to data sets, graphs, or statistics. What he had was experience. He served as a government official, worked as a judge, advised rulers, and survived imprisonment and exile. He lived inside the political system and observed how power truly functioned. Through these experiences, he came to a powerful conclusion. History was not random. Societies did not rise and fall by chance. They followed a predictable cycle driven by incentives, discipline, and social unity. Ibn Khaldun believed that every civilization begins in hardship. In the early stage, life is difficult, resources are limited, survival is uncertain, and people are forced to rely on one another. Because life is hard, people develop discipline. They work harder, they cooperate, and they remain united. Governments at this stage are small and simple. Taxes are low, because rulers understand that people must keep the fruits of their labor in order to survive. Productivity increases, trade begins to grow, and wealth slowly starts to accumulate. As success continues, the society enters a second stage. Stability replaces chaos. Cities expand, markets grow, and trade routes become secure. Wealth becomes more common, and life becomes more comfortable. What once felt like luxury slowly becomes normal. At this stage, the society appears strong, confident, and successful. But according to Ibn Khaldun, this is also the moment when danger begins to form. Comfort changes behavior. As struggle fades, discipline weakens. People no longer work because survival demands it, but because comfort requires it. Consumption increases while production slows. The desire to maintain a comfortable lifestyle begins to outweigh the desire to create long-term value. At the same time, governments expand. New institutions are created, more officials are hired, and public spending increases. To support this growth, taxes slowly rise. At first, higher taxes do not seem harmful. Wealth still exists, and the economy continues to function. But Ibn Khaldun warned that incentives matter more than appearances. As taxes increase, people adjust their behavior. They become less willing to take risks. Entrepreneurs avoid innovation. Workers reduce effort. Some hide their income, while others leave productive activities entirely. Economic energy begins to fade, even though the state demands more resources. This leads to the next stage of the cycle. Leadership changes in character. Rulers become more focused on preserving power than serving the population. Bureaucracy expands, corruption becomes common, and laws multiply. The government grows heavier and less efficient. Productivity declines further, but spending continues to rise. To compensate, taxes are increased again, accelerating the decline. Ibn Khaldun observed that excessive taxation does not increase government revenue, it destroys it. When taxes are low, people are motivated to work, trade, and innovate. When taxes become heavy, people withdraw from economic activity. Centuries later, modern economists would rediscover this principle and call it the Laffer curve. But Ibn Khaldun explained it centuries earlier through observation of real societies. At the center of Ibn Khaldun's theory was a concept he called Asabiyyah. Asabiyyah refers to social cohesion, shared identity, and collective purpose. In strong societies, Asabiyyah is high. People trust one another, cooperate naturally, and place the survival of the group above individual comfort. This unity allows societies to endure hardship and grow stronger over time. However, wealth slowly erodes Asabiyyah. As people become richer, they become more individualistic. Loyalty weakens, social bonds break down. People begin to prioritize personal gain over collective responsibility. Ibn Khaldun believed that when Asabiyyah disappears, the society loses its ability to defend itself, both economically and politically. According to Ibn Khaldun, civilizations rarely collapse because of external enemies. They collapse from within. Success makes them fragile. Comfort destroys discipline. Luxury replaces responsibility. Leaders become disconnected from the people they govern. Eventually, the system becomes unsustainable and collapse becomes inevitable. Ibn Khaldun witnessed this cycle repeat across different regions and dynasties. Each empire believed it was unique. Each believed it had escaped history. None of them had. The names, cultures, and religions changed, but the underlying pattern remained the same. Human nature did not change. Despite the brilliance of his insights, Ibn Khaldun remained largely unknown outside the Islamic world for centuries. He wrote in Arabic, and his work existed outside the European intellectual tradition. When modern economics developed, many of his ideas were rediscovered indirectly, often without acknowledgement. Today, Ibn Khaldun's theory feels disturbingly familiar. Economic booms followed by crashes, expanding governments struggling with debt, rising inequality, declining trust in institutions. These are not new problems. They are symptoms of the same cycle Ibn Khaldun described in the 14th century. From ancient empires to modern nation-states, the pattern remains unchanged. Strength creates wealth. Wealth creates comfort. Comfort weakens unity, and the loss of unity leads to collapse. The cycle then begins again, with a new group, hardened by struggle and necessity. Ibn Khaldun did not predict one collapse. He predicted all of them. His work reveals that economic failure is not accidental. It is the natural outcome of incentives, behavior, and psychology repeating over time. Perhaps the most unsettling truth in Ibn Khaldun's philosophy is that knowledge alone does not stop the cycle. Every generation believes it is wiser than the last. Every civilization believes it has learned from history, and yet history continues without mercy. Ibn Khaldun understood the future because he understood human nature. Until societies learn to balance wealth with discipline, power with responsibility, and success with unity, the cycle will never end. We are not witnessing something new. We are living inside a pattern discovered more than 600 years ago.